So, Kick kinda has a bad reputation because people seem to think that it's like entirely owned and run by Stake, which isn't really true at all, but it looks like Nickmercs is relying on that reputation to convince his fans that he doesn't want to gamble, but he has to as part of his Kick deal, which is a statement so absurd that even xQc, degenerate gambler that he is calling him out on it. So today we're going to talk about Nickmercs and what's probably really going on behind the scenes. So I guess first we should address the elephant in the room. A lot of people seem to believe that Kick is owned and run as basically just a side project by Stake, the gambling company. While its exact ownership structure isn't public, we know that's not the case. There are a number of co-founders / co-owners who all almost certainly hold some ownership in Kick, though we can't say exactly how much. Moreover, as Stake is a separate company from Kick, they can't really mix their finances in the way that a lot of people seem to think that they do. Sure, Kick allows gambling and was founded, at least in part, as a response to Twitch's anti-gambling sentiment that was on the rise. But over time, it seems like they've been trying to shed the association that the site has with gambling. Of course, it's still allowed, but it's not something they're explicitly focusing on. At least from an outside perspective, they're focused more on building their library of streamers, getting as many different kinds of creators onto Kick to produce the content that the site needs to survive. So far, they've been doing pretty well at this, signing several high-profile streamers, slowly eating into Twitch's market share, and avoiding the unfathomable corporatization that Twitch has undergone in recent years. That's not to say that they haven't had their controversies. They've had more than their fair share of those too, but overall, it seems like Kick is doing well, at least to an outsider. So, it wasn't much of a surprise when they announced that Nickmercs had signed with Kick on a non-exclusive contract. We've seen them gobble up all sorts of creators recently, so what's another one? Well, Nickmercs started making waves when he announced something that most of the recent streamers who've signed with Kick haven't mentioned. He claimed that there is a section in his Kick contract that means that he is required to gamble while streaming on Kick, at least some of the time. Now, a lot of people just accepted this at face value. I mean, the public view of Kick is still stuck on their association with gambling companies. But it was weird that of all the recent signers with Kick, most of them didn't mention this, and a lot of them don't do gambling content. So people started looking a little deeper, and the more people dug, the less they believed him about this. This culminated in xQc coming across Nickmercs' comments. Now xQc is one of the biggest streamers associated with Kick, and on top of that, he's a bit of a gambler himself. So if anyone was going to have news on what Kick was doing in regards to gambling, it's assumed that xQc would have some level of awareness of it. xQc tore into Nickmercs on stream, basically saying that Nickmercs was lying to his audience because there is no requirement to gamble in the default Kick contract. xQc said that Kick doesn't want to be as associated with gambling, or Gamba as he calls it, and they've been going normal mode, then saying that if Nickmercs has a clause that says he has to gamble, he asked for it and put it in there. He basically said that he believes that Nickmercs signed the one deal with Kick and then a separate agreement with Stake. xQc went on to eviscerate Nickmercs, saying that he's misrepresenting to his audience what happened. xQc said that Nickmercs signed with Kick, then asked Stake for a deal, so telling his audience that the gambling is part of the Kick deal is lying to his audience. And if what xQc is saying is true, and on this one occasion we have no reason to disbelieve him, basically Nickmercs wanted a stack of cash for promoting gambling to his fans, but didn't want to have to deal with the blowback on his reputation for taking a gambling sponsorship. So instead of telling his audience what he actually did, he opted to lie and frame it as part of his Kick deal, something that a lot of people would believe, given Kick's reputation, but ultimately untrue because of his omission of the actual mechanism of his required gambling. To be honest, I don't know why Kick hasn't put him through the ringer yet. It's not exactly a good start to a business relationship if you abuse your business partner's bad reputation to hide your own greed. I mean, I'm not going to take a moral stance against gambling. Personally, I think that streaming it is wrong, but also, like, I'm not going to watch it, so I don't really care if someone does stream it. But if you're going to, it feels like you should own up to what you're doing. You're giving into your own greed and promoting gambling to your fans, while at the same time making money from your fans off of your stream, all while getting incentives to do so from a casino. It's ethically gray, and it's kinda a weak move to not own up to what you're doing. Greed if you're gonna greed, but don't paint yourself as a saint while you do so. What do you guys think? Do you believe xQc that Kick is trying their hardest to lose their gambling reputation, and that there's no way that there was a gambling clause in Nickmercs' Kick deal, at least without his asking for it? Or do you actually believe that Kick is trying to force random creators to gamble? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Have a great day, and God bless you.